Have you ever looked at a map of the Middle East and wondered why the borders look so straight, almost like someone drew them with a ruler? Well, in some ways, that's exactly what happened. The story of how the Arab world was divided is a complex tale of empires, promises, and power politics that shaped the region we know today. For centuries, much of the Arab world was united under the banner of the Ottoman Empire. From the deserts of Arabia to the shores of North Africa, people shared a common imperial ruler, even with their distinct local cultures and identities. But by the early 20th century, the Ottoman Empire was weakening, often called the sick man of Europe. This weakness created a power vacuum, and European powers, particularly Britain and France, were eager to fill it. World War I became the turning point. The Ottomans sided with Germany and the Central Powers. This put them in direct conflict with Britain and France. To weaken their enemy, the British saw an opportunity in the growing Arab nationalist movements. They began to support Arab leaders who dreamed of independence from Ottoman rule. This is where a famous name comes in. T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. He was a British officer who worked closely with Arab leaders, most notably Sharif Hussein of Mecca. The British made a series of promises to Sharif Hussein, documented in what's known as the McMahon-Hussein Correspondence. They essentially promised to recognize and support Arab independence in a large, unified Arab state after the war, in exchange for the Arabs revolting against the Ottomans. Fired up by the promise of freedom, the Arab revolt began in 1916. Arab forces, advised by Lawrence and supplied by the British, launched a successful guerrilla war against the Ottoman Turks. They captured key cities like Aqaba and Damascus, playing a crucial role in the Allied victory in the Middle East. For the Arabs, it felt like the dawn of a new era of independence. They had fought for their own kingdom, and they believed their British allies would honor their promises. But here's the twist. While the British were making promises to the Arabs, they were also making secret deals with the French. In 1916, two diplomats, Sir Mark Sykes of Britain and François-Georges Picot of France, met in secret. With a pen and a map, they carved up the Ottoman Empire's era provinces into future spheres of influence. This secret agreement became known as the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Imagine their map. A line was drawn from the Aegean Acre on the Mediterranean coast to the last quay in Kirkuk. In modern-day Iraq, everything north of that line would be under French control or influence, and everything south would be under British control or influence. Palestine was designated for international administration due to its religious significance. This agreement completely contradicted the promises made to the Arabs. It was a classic example of colonial power politics, where the interests of empires came before the aspirations of local peoples, and there was another layer of complexity. In 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration. This was a public statement, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This declaration was made for various strategic reasons, including gaining support from Jewish communities in Britain and America for the war effort. But it added a third, conflicting promise to an already tangled situation. The British had now promised the same land, or parts of it, to three different groups: the Arabs, the French, and the Zionist movement. When World War I ended in 1918 and the Ottoman Empire collapsed, the moment of truth arrived. The Arab leaders, led by Sharif Hussein's son, went to the Paris Peace Conference in 1919, expecting to claim their independent Arab kingdom. Instead, they were met with the reality of Britain and France had no intention of allowing a single, powerful Arab state to emerge. The newly formed League of Nations formalized this division through the Mandate system. This system was presented as a way to guide former Ottoman territories toward self-rule, but in reality, it was a thinly veiled form of colonialism. France was given mandates over Syria and Lebanon. Britain was given mandates over Iraq, Palestine, and Transjordan, which is modern-day Jordan. The borders of these new states were drawn not according to ethnic, tribal, or religious lines, but according to the strategic and economic interests of the European powers. For instance, the British cobbled together three distinct Ottoman provinces, Baghdad and Busratu, create the state of Iraq, primarily to control the region's vast oil reserves. These new borders often cut through traditional tribal lands and lumped together groups who had little in common and sometimes a history of conflict. Naturally, this betrayal sparked widespread anger and resistance across the Arab world. There were revolts in Iraq, Syria, and Palestine against British and French rule. The dream of a unified Arab state, which had seemed so close, was shattered. Instead, the region was fragmented into a collection of states whose very existence was a product of foreign design. The leaders installed by the British and French were often seen as puppets of the colonial powers, lacking true legitimacy in the eyes of their people. This legacy of artificial borders and broken promises has had a profound and lasting impact. Many of the conflicts that have plagued the Middle East in the last century can be traced back to this period. The divisions created by Sykes-Picot-fueled sectarian tensions undermined the development of stable national identities and created a deep-seated resentment toward Western powers. The unresolved issue of Palestine, stemming from the Balfour Declaration, remains one of the most intractable conflicts in the world. Over the following decades, these mandated territories gradually gained independence, one by one, but they did so within the borders drawn by Sykes and Picot. The Pan-Arab dream of unity never fully recovered. While movements like Nasserism in the 1950s and 60s tried to revive the ideal of a single Arab nation, the political reality of separate, established states proved too strong to overcome. So, when you look at that map today, remember that those straight lines are more than just geographical boundaries. They are the scars of a complex history, a story of imperial ambition, secret deals, and the frustrated aspirations of a people for self-determination. Understanding this history is crucial to understanding the political landscape and the ongoing challenges of the modern Middle East. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what other historical topics you'd like to see covered. See you in the next one.